Okay, so today we are with Natasha Dowie, the girl who scored the winner late on in the Women's FA Cup final for Everton against Arsenal. But I tell you what, Natasha, you tell us the story.
Well, obviously it was the FA Cup, 3rd of May. We went 1-0 up quite early on, 16th minute. I scored to put us 1-0 ahead. Then obviously Arsenal equalised with a penalty by Kim Little. We then went in ahead 2-1 just before half time for an own goal from Faye White, which obviously was good for us. They came out quite strong. They got their equaliser. It was looking like really it was going to penalties, went into extra time. Arsenal were really on top of us then, looking like they were going to get the winner. And then obviously the ball broke to me, and as soon as I connected with it, I knew it was in. It was a great feeling, and obviously it was great that we beat Arsenal and won the FA Cup.
It was about 35 metres out, top corner, wasn't it?
No, to be honest, Brooke Chaplin just slid me in. I thought it was too far ahead of me, but I've just got there. The keeper's come out and committed herself, and I've just dinked it over her. And as soon as I connected with it, I knew it was going into the goal.
Now, this was in the 119th minute.
Yeah.
How perfect was that from your point of view?
It's like a fairy tale, really. I mean, it hasn't even really sunk in yet, and it's about 3 weeks ago now. But I mean, it's like a perfect story for me. I've always dreamt as a kid to play in an FA Cup, and obviously to score the winner and to score 2 goals. It's a great feeling, especially the way obviously it happened as well, 2 minutes to go.
Now, to put this into perspective for those who don't follow women's football, I was looking at the league. You finished second in the league, so congratulations there as well. But the team who finished first were Arsenal, played 22. They only lost 1 in the whole season, so it's not easy beating the Arsenal.
No, Arsenal have been a terrific force throughout the years. They've dominated women's football, won the title numerous times. I think they've won the FA Cup 6 times in a row before we beat them. So obviously they know how to win, and that's what we're striving to be. Obviously we beat them in the FA Cup, but real champions are the teams that can do it consistently week in, week out. And obviously they beat us twice in the league this season, so we need to strive to obviously compete and beat them next year, and obviously that's what I want to achieve.
Now, you've got a reasonably well-known footballing surname, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think you better explain the connections here.
Yeah, my uncle's obviously Ian Dowie, presently of Hull City. Terrific guy, really probably my role model. As a kid, obviously him and my dad used to coach me, and I used to watch videos of him. Obviously he was a centre forward, so he's a real inspiration to me, and he's always interested in my football and how I'm doing. I stay with him actually a lot when I'm up in Liverpool. I stay with him in Bolton with the family and that, so no, he's a great guy.
Do you model yourself on him? Because my recollection of Ian was, and he won't mind me saying this, a good old-fashioned English centre forward, probably a nightmare to play against, to defend against. Probably not that silky skills wise, but just physical and gets himself about. Is that a fair comment?
That is definitely me.
That's you, is it?
I haven't got a trick in the book whatsoever. Defenders hate playing against me. I use my arms, I use my elbows, I've given some broke nose once in a while. So I'd definitely say that I'm a similar player to my uncle, quite good in the air, very physical. My kind of game is holding the ball up and bringing other players into play. So I'd like to say that obviously I'd like to say I finished better than my uncle, and I'm sure he'd agree with me. But no, we're similar players.
Now, what you haven't told us yet, Natasha, is what a weird day for the Dowie family. It was Cup final day. Again, perhaps you better explain what I mean by that.
Yeah, obviously Hull got relegated that day. My uncle was brought in obviously to try and keep them up. Worked his hardest to try and do that. Obviously didn't go the way he hoped. But to be honest, as soon as the cup final was over, I had 2 missed calls from him. He had literally whizzed back from his game to try and catch the last few minutes of the game. I saw my winning goal, and I actually went round to theirs that night, and he was so proud of me. Didn't even mention his game, so obviously it's disappointing for him, but he'll kick on and do well wherever he goes from now, whether it's at Hull or another team.
So you're only 21, but you've already played at quite a few clubs. Could you just go through them and tell us about your experiences at these clubs?
Yeah, I started at my local town, Holden and Colts. Played for them, then I got scouted by Watford Ladies, was there for a few seasons. Then went to Fulham Ladies, which was my first year in the Premiership at about 16. Then I got scouted by Charlton. I was there for only 1 season. Unfortunately, that team folded because of the men's team getting relegated. So then Mo Marley, my England manager, snapped me up and asked me to go to Everton. I've been there for 3 seasons now. So yeah, 21, getting to move around a bit.
Well, you've had more clubs than Peter Stringfellow, haven't you? And England as well. How many caps?
Yeah. I've had, I would say, in total, well up to 80 caps. obviously at youth level. I played in the World Cup in the under-20s, a European Championship in the under-19s, and I've just had my second cap for the senior team recently. I came on against Malta for the last 15 minutes. So, I mean, I'm still young. I'm hoping that eventually I'll be in Hope House Futures and want to try and get in the starting 11.
Yeah, well, I mean, the English women's football team is going pretty well. I mean, you get the feeling, rather like the men's team, they're very close.
Yeah.
Not quite there, but very close to picking up silverware.
Yeah, the England women's team have improved year in, year out. I think we're ranked 5th in the world now. They got to a European Championship final last year. So Hope has done a terrific job at the younger age groups as well. Mo Marley, the under-19s, won the European Championship final. So I think it's definitely progressing and going in the right direction. Okay,
now what about making a living? Because unfortunately, if you were the male equivalent, you would have swanned up here today in your Lamborghini en route to your villa in the south of France. But I sense that's not quite the case.
No, it's not at all. You have to have obviously a job whilst playing football. I work for Stevenage Borough Football Club as like a women's development officer, doing coaching for the academy there. So unless you go to America, you can't make a living out of it at the time being. It is progressing. Next year we're starting the Super League, where the FA are putting money into each team and players will start getting paid a bit of money, but it's definitely not enough to make a living out of it, no.
Well, that's still a big development. I mean, considering, I mean, you've got a long way to go, but you've come a long way as well, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, it's progressed so much, and it has progressed quite fast as well since when I've been playing. I'm still only 21. And the thought of getting paid to actually do what you love doing is obviously a bonus. It's just a shame that obviously you don't get paid, like you said, what the men do, because it would make life a lot easier and allow us to train more and obviously improve ourselves as players, but you've got to obviously commit to your full-time work.
So when you were young, I mean, when did you decide I want to be a footballer?
My dad, to be honest, started kicking the ball around with me when I was about 5 or 6. And then he got a few girls together from my local town we used to have a kickabout. He actually then got together more girls and actually made Hartlepool Colts the girls team. Now they've got under 10s, under 12s, I think they've got a ladies team. So really, to be honest, it was down to my dad. My dad's been a massive influence in my football. I mean, he takes me everywhere, he drives me up to Everton every weekend, rain, snow, he'll always be there. And to be honest, he's been probably my biggest inspiration. Like, he's been my coach since I was a young kid as well, so without him I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
But at what point did it change from loving football, kicking the ball around, to actually, okay, it's not really a profession yet, although you're going to get some money next year, and obviously the dream is to go to America and do a bend it like Dowie. But nevertheless, when did it start getting serious? Because really, football is your number one priority in life, isn't it?
I think probably when I got scouted for England, I was at Watford Academy at the time, and the England scouts saw me playing for them, and I got picked for an under-15s development camp. And obviously when you go away there, it's get to see all the England coaches, and they teach you about nutrition and diet and training. I think that's obviously when it became serious for me, that it wasn't just a kickabout now and a bit of fun. You had to watch obviously what you're eating, your training had to be serious. Now I have to finish sports plan every day to see what I'm doing, eating wise, my lifestyle, how I'm feeling. I have training to do every single day, so even though I don't get paid for it, it is a full-time job and it is a commitment. But like I said, days like the FA Cup final and obviously getting to travel the world with England, it makes it worth it.
Now, didn't your uncle play? In fact, I'm going to ask him. I'm going to tell you. Your uncle played for Northern Ireland. In fact, he had the scoring record for many years, didn't he? So how come he played for Northern Ireland and you play for England?
It's funny because when I got scouted for England, my first England cap was against Northern Ireland. We actually won 3-1 and I scored a half volley from the edge of the box. And the Northern Ireland guy was giving my dad a bit of grief, saying, why hasn't she signed for us? So I think obviously you want to play for England. I mean, you want to play in World Cups and European Championships. Really, Northern Ireland, they don't really compete in tournaments like that. So if you get the chance to obviously play for your main nation, then obviously you're not going to turn that down.
Well, when you join up with the England ladies, as I'm sure you will very soon, half of them are Arsenal players, aren't they? So what are you going to do? You're going to sort of try and not be seen, or just apologise, or?
I was away with them last week in Malta. They're fine with me. It's a bit of banter. I mean, it's a game. It's a one-off game. They're a good bunch of girls, actually. So no, it's fine. We're all friends off the pitch.
Oh, that's good to know. Well, lovely to meet you, Natasha. Best of luck. Keep on scoring those really, really late goals and those great celebrations. And look forward to seeing you soon.
Cheers.